Ba 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 da ba da ba 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 da ba da ba da ba ba. Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. Happy, oh my God, where are we? I think we are Thursday. Whew. All day I was like, oh no, it's Tuesday. I should be good. Everything's fine. Yeah. Well, it's Thursday here in the Big Mango. Greetings and aloha. Hopefully you're awesome. Glad to have you along for the ride. This is one of these evening streams that I do primarily for the folks in the UK, in Europe, and that sort of thing. So if you're from there, awesome. Good to see you, Aztec. Thank you so much, my friend, for the good vibes. Always appreciate it. Mariano, hoping you were going to stop by. Thank you. Aloha, Germany. Good to see you, my friend. And Thailand Tim, ladies and gentlemen, we can blame him for his wonderful suggestion of, Mike, why the hell don't you do live streams when it's like daylight here in Europe or the UK? And, of course, my answer was, damn good question, Tim. Let's do it. So what's interesting about today is just recently, like about probably, time is it 6 o'clock? Probably about half an hour ago, I got a notice from Gracie, and they're not going to be in like quarantine where you got to stay inside 24 hours a day. But they're going to be in the province, sort of like what they refer to as poblacion, which is basically like downtownish, right? In Hamandan, they're going to be they're not going to be allowed to leave the poblacion. And if you come in there, then you have to stay for 5 days minimum. So that's sort of an interesting, different way to do it. I find that, obviously there's a lot of change in everything today and yesterday as well. But that was just sort of an interesting update I got, anyway, from Gracie, like literally like 25 minutes ago. In 45 minutes, I have to go. Okay, no worries. I will talk really, really fast, Aztec, and go. Maybe not. Europe and Germany. Indeed, Germany. Hey, Mr. Mitch, what's happening, buddy? And good to see you, Bruce. Hello from Tokyo. Bruce and I pretty much only chat on Facebook, I think. He had some great videos and photos and stuff that he did when he did this road trip in so if you're on Facebook, then you want to maybe connect with him. He did this really cool road trip in Japan. I can't remember exactly. There's a part of me that thinks it was in a Toyota FJ, but I don't think that that's right. It was a SUV type vehicle similar to that one, but he did some really, really cool, or provided some really, really cool photos. And he's a really smart guy too, actually. It's always interesting sort of interfacing with him. He's got a lot of experience in industries that I have not been in, as well as industries that I have worked in. So it's kind of neat as the two sort of collide, if you will, which is basically technology and air travel. So anyway, hey, Bruce, thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it. Andy, oh my goodness, I'm honored you're here, man. Well, to be fair, I usually don't do live streams, right, when you're like around. So anyway, this is really cool. Thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it. Andy's got a really interesting channel that I found, geez, I don't know, Andy, but 2 years ago maybe. And when he was primarily in, or at least when I was watching the channel, physically in the kingdom, and then has been out for a while, and so but pops in now and then. Additionally, I think he and I share the same desire for the STREAMYARD technology, which is what this is all in today, with all of the little stuff and then the thing and everything. He uses StreamYard for his live streams too. So anyway, good to see you, man. Daniel, how are you? Good to see you guys. I'm really glad you're here. Any plans for the weekend? So great question, Tim. I am actually planning on heading down to Pattaya. That is my plan. So I have a hotel reservation because they're like, even if I don't make it, right, then it's just like, okay, fine, whatever. It's like, I honestly think it's less than $20. I don't even know. Actually, okay, all in with taxes and everything, I think it's 605 baht, and it's a one-bedroom condo. right on Beach Road. If you guys know Soy 2, or like the Teddy Bear Museum, or if you know Markland, if you know the Markland, condo building, it's an older one for sure. But yeah, so Ocean View is 600. So anyway, even though it's a long holiday weekend and apparently a lot of Thais are going to be going down there, I'm going to head down there. I'm going to probably take the bus tomorrow morning. Head on down, 7 a.m. in Ontario, Canada. Good to see you, Charles. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate your attendance. 45 minutes I can only listen in. Okay, well, good. I'm grateful that for the remainder of the evening you can judge, because without that, yep, that is Facebook, where he did his trip. My best mate's name is Andy Wright. Oh, really? Very cool, man. That's cool. I figured that there would be some of you guys at least that would know him, because he was sort of he was getting into the whole Thailand vlogging thing, God, 3, maybe even more than that years ago. And so he was just sort of part of that fraternity, and so was doing content there. Right. Jimmy. I completely, yeah. So it wasn't a Toyota. FJ. It was a Jimmy. Good to know. Random information for the win. Indeed, sir. You're very interesting. Oh, thanks, Bruce. That's cool, man. I appreciate it. Exactly. Too late, too early. LOL. Got to guess that. I don't, actually. And you know what's funny is if you have never watched my live streams, you know that occasionally what I'll do is I'll have a break, right? And then usually what I'll do is I'll play a video that I've made like when I've been out, right? And my goal with that was to basically make, 50 of those. So I would always have because I mean, it's not like a radio spot, right? Where you can basically like, okay, we're going to take a break, and then you play a commercial. And then an hour later, you're in between the music and you play sort of your next, you're like, okay, we're going to be back after this break, and you play basically the same commercials. And people are like, okay, I get that. But what is, obvious, if you don't acknowledge this, I would submit it's obvious that I can't play basically the same break video, where at the end of the day, I talk about gratitude enough anyway. So it's like, oh, good, Mike's going to take a break, and we're going to listen to a 4-minute video where he talks about, shocker, gratitude again. And then when he gets back from the restroom or getting himself a 100, because these are the best beverages known to man. Thank you very much. Really, it's the only beverage where I make that sound afterwards. It just instantiates it. Like, I have no idea really why, but I picked that up as a habit as a young boy, which of course made me think I was quite cool. And so that's transitioned into my adult life. Mike, if you're down in Pattaya, go straight to Smile Bar. Remind me where that is, Aztec. I know you mentioned that the other day on Jeremy's channel. Anyway, just let me know. Smile Bar. Oh, wait, hold on. What is this? Soy made in Thailand, Pattaya coordinates. Yeah, good. Well, thank goodness it's not 13 degrees north, because I'll tell you something, dude. Anything above 13 degrees latitude, way too cold for me. I will not go there. So 12.9, I'm willing to suck it up for you guys at 12.9. Boo. What do we got here? Okay, anyway. Okay, all right. So cool. I'll have to check that out. I don't know where it is, but I'm sure I'll be able to find it. The hotel deals must be extreme. Is the Hilton still open? So good question. When I was in Pattaya, oh boy, how long ago was that? About a month. It was only literally to walk from the bus station to the pier, and then to get there, I actually walked to the beach when I got there, from the bus station to the beach, and then from the beach I took a songtao down to the pier, and then from the pier I cruised over to Koh Larn. And when I was in Koh Larn, I was there for like 3 or 4 days, and then cruised back, or 2 days, sorry, because Koh Larn's not that big. You really, after like the second day, it's like, I've really sort of maxed out. Like, in other words, I went to the same beaches twice, which was fine. It's like, I don't hate beaches, believe me. But anyway, to answer your question, my only interface sort of with Pattaya thus far has been basically walking down Beach Road. I didn't go into the Hilton. I will say that oh, no, I'm sorry. When did yes, and I'm sorry. I was over there. I was walking down the beach, and I was walking towards the pier. It started raining. So I just hopped in to the Central Festival, right, which is of course at the base of the Hilton. And I went to that Starbucks and just like hung out there for a little bit. And if you know that Starbucks that I'm talking about right in the corner, it's basically right on the driveway into where you would like drive and check into the Hilton. And they were absolutely open. So that was about a month ago. What's interesting, though, is I figured, okay, so, they're coming up with these new travel programs. They've come up with this We Travel Together, where if you're a Thai citizen, you register on this website and you potentially get significant discounts on travel, domestic travel, that sort of thing, trying to build up the, the domestic travel sort of paradigm. And, it's, I mean, it's not necessarily subsidize it, but certainly, working with the government, working with the travel agencies, or specifically the hotels as well as the airlines, to try and get the Thais better deals so they'll travel more, right? So there's all this that's sort of in play. Everybody's talking about, oh my God, October 1st, I'm going to be able to go to Phuket. Yes, well, there's a number of steps you're going to have to go through. Additionally, I'm going to go to the I, what defines that person, is quite frankly probably nobody on this live stream, or at least I will just speak for myself. It would not include me. I am unwilling to take a charter flight and or my own private jet from outside of Thailand into Phuket just to get here so I can stay for, a minimum of 30 days. And anyway, so that plan is evolving. But my point to all this is that in the last week, I have heard about fairly large, long-time hotel properties, resorts, closing, interestingly enough, on October 1st, up here in Bangkok. It's not Crown Point. That's not the name of it. Centerpoint Siloam. Centerpoint has like 5 or 6 properties here in Bangkok, but Centerpoint Siloam over, kind of like if you're going to take the BTS to Sapan Taksin and you would normally like walk towards the pier. Well, if you like were to walk away from the pier, then you would end up there. That hotel is closing October 1st. And then I heard about another very large hotel property so here's the two things that I've noticed is that for the most part, the only properties that have been open where I've been going are like pretty boutique mom and pop type places, with the exception of when I was in Samui, the Four Seasons was open. So anyway, but for the most part, the bigger ones seem to have stayed closed, not necessarily open. That I know I'm behind on comments, so I apologize. Let me catch up on there. There's a huge delay when I message on Fit. Well, it's not your fault, actually. There's the delay is here. I'm quite certain when you hit the submit button, it probably shows up on Facebook. It's just that I don't view it yet. Hey, Thomas, good to see you, man. Hey, so Thomas, if you guys are also on Facebook, so Thomas has been posting some amazing photos of where he's vacationing right now. The majority of them at the beach. Thomas, remind me where you are. I can't remember. Is it Mexico? How busy is downtown Sukhumvit these days? So 8-4, etc. I'm guessing there are 0 tourists floating around. For the most part, yes, there are no tourists. Bangkok is absolutely back in business, sans the sort of tourism, right? So in other words, and to be fair, like I haven't been out to, Cowboy or Nana or even any of the nightclubs, right? But what I hear from my friends that do frequent, certainly the nightclubs like Sing Sing and Levels, is that like on a Friday or Saturday night, there's like a lot of people there. And by that, he means like a lot of Thais. And for the like places like Sing Sing and Levels, those places are going to have usually wealthier Thais, not wealthy like Hyso, but they're going to have people that are local, pretty much. There are expats for sure that are like here, but obviously, it's kind of like local tourists. The interesting thing about Bangkok, right, is that for the most part, if you live here like me or Jeremy or, other guys, then, we go out and we do, right? Caesar's another great, he's a guy that is here. Dave has come down to Bangkok occasionally, but for the most part, it's to sort of like come here and do things. So like, for example, Dave needed to go to the embassy. He needed to get a certificate of not being or being eligible for marriage, right? And then, Rob came up here to like do some things, go see Fawn and go over and, just hang out. But so people sort of come to Bangkok to like take care of things like administrative tasks. But if you live in Bangkok, then you pretty much vacation elsewhere. There's not a whole lot of vacationing that happens here. That said, I have been trying to find places to sort of vacation in my hometown, right? And so one of the places, and I've done some videos, Gracie and I actually went over to this, called Bangkok. It's kind of like got an R and a Krachow. It's like this island that's over basically east of Bang Na. Sorry. West of Bang Na. And then there's this other one that my buddy told me about the other day, a much smaller island that's kind of further north. It's still sort of in Bangkok, but kind of like if you were to go all the way to the end of the Purple Line, I think it's still like about 10 kilometers north of that, called Kokret. K-R-E-T is the way that I've seen it, spelled. And so I think I'm going to head over there maybe and get some bicycles and just kind of like cruise around. So, oh, Jay, good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for coming by. I've missed you too, dude. You're working your way there. Tom, good to hear. Good to hear. News article here yesterday. Qantas is trying to start out boarding tests to resolve international lockdown from Australia. I talked to a guy today, and he and his wife came in from Myanmar, where he basically lives. And so they came in here to do various things, like he and his wife and their daughter. They had to do his daughter's like second birthday today or something. So I'm not quite sure exactly what was around that. But the point is that he came into Bangkok from Myanmar. And the way that he was describing, like you come in and you do the 14, you come in and you have, of course, all the paperwork that is allowed you to get here. Great. And then you do the check, right? Because, I mean, you do the check before you get on the plane. You get here, and then you do another check. He said it was like they do a check, and he says the way that he described it with his accent, he goes, they give you the results straight away. So you can probably guess where he's from, right? But, and so I guess that meant like, there was no sort of, no more delay, quite frankly, than waiting for your luggage, really. So that was a good thing. I thought, oh, cool. I'll try to remember to report that because, I mean, a lot of this stuff, of course, is, it introduces delay for sure. And, obviously the infamous, since 9/11 changed everything, right? I mean, of course, that's the additional TSA, that's the additional screening, that's, and of course, it just takes you much, much longer to get there, to get through just to your gate, right, in the plane than it used to. And now there's these additional sort of impediments, right? And so, the way that he described it says it was pretty good. So I'm happy to hear that like an airline is actually also taking advantage of the time that they sort of are down, if you will, and trying to apply that to allow people to, I assume what you mean by that is to exit Australia, because I believe that hasn't been an option for you guys for a while. So fingers crossed we'll be allowed out by March. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a ways away. Hilton Pattaya is closed. They started renovations for the time being. Really? Okay. Well, that's interesting. I'll have to cruise over there because, God, when the heck was I? Maybe it was was it 2 months ago? It might have been 2 months when I went to Koh Larn. I can't remember. I mean, it is September, right? Like 3rd right now. But anyway, aloha, Mike. 4 a.m. in San Francisco, up early for my morning workout. Good for you, Mango. That's awesome, buddy. Congratulations. That's good that you do that for yourself. Bruce says, I've heard the same thing in Malaysia. Really landmark established properties all closing. So sad. Yeah. And so in Patong, you know how the Holiday Inn is pretty large, right? Right there on the beach, on that beach road there. And for the most part, the front of it is just like it faces the ocean there. It's got a lot of wood and stuff, and you would like walk over the beaches and everything. Walk over the pools. But then for the most part, the property kind of like goes straight back and then right, and then like kind of dumps out. And I think probably 2/3 of the buildings that were in there were completely gutted. I didn't see any of that woodwork, like where the pools were in front and stuff. And that is absolutely closed. So I think that's what's happening with a lot of these big chains. I don't know how Hilton or Holiday Inn / IHG work it, but I do know that Starwood Marriott, for the most part, those properties are, it's like, they don't own that. I mean, they do own some, but they own very few. And for the most part, what they do is they sort of just have franchise out the name and the the property management system and the Marriott way and all of this sort of thing, the culture and that sort of thing. But they're not sort of, they are Marriott properties, but it's not like Bill Marriott actually owns them, right? But yeah, it seems like those ones are really closing down, and I haven't really paid attention to that. It would have been kind of an interesting thing to do that to start a while ago, actually, because I do have a lot of respect for IHG. I've had some buddies that work over there in leadership roles, and guys that like ran the IT for the administrative IHG, not each individual property. But sorry, Tom, I missed that. Yeah, so you're in Cozumel, Cabo until Christmas. After that, no idea. Good for you, dude. Sounds like a great plan. I've never been to Cozumel. I've been to Cabo, and I've been to you know what I like in Cabo? I like Cabo, San Lucas, but I really like San Jose del Cabo. It's like a much chiller, infinitely less gringos. It's got gringos, don't get me wrong, but I mean, especially, but that like main strip that basically goes from like kind of like that artsy sort of area, like right by the church, from there straight all the way back or all the way down to the beach. I love that little area, man. I just think that that's like, it's just so cool. And then they have that little market there with the great food and everything. And then actually another nice property is in fact the Holiday Inn. That's the Holiday Inn. I think not Holiday Inn Express. It's like the Holiday Inn Extra or something like that. And that's right on the beach in San Jose del Cabo. And I like that. That's definitely my speed for sure. Nice and quiet beaches. Agreed. Whoops. Andy, hey, good to see you, man. Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. Tim says one of Mike's most enduring characteristics is his laugh, just like the actors John Candy. Anyone else notice this? is that because of my my fat face? John Candy's pretty classic, isn't he? Hi ho, hey Dennis. All right, buddy, glad you're here. Never had a problem. Just get the wheelchair service every time. Yeah, totally, man. Absolutely. What you take on the Phuket plan? They are working on to welcome long stay visitors. So many people think it is not workable, but I think it's a really good first step. I think it is exceptional first step. I think it is disappointing that some people are like, oh, well, it doesn't apply to me, so therefore it's not a good idea. I mean, look, here's the deal. They want a sample size, right? And so to get a small sample size, you're not like, okay, let's let all the backpackers. No. You can't monitor that, right? And here's the thing is that, trust me, okay, here's Mike's opinion. In like 3 to 6 months, many of us who are like just sort of, not, let's say for the sake of argument, average travelers. I'm sorry if that bruises your ego, but let's just call me that, and you guys can all be different than me, okay? So from my perspective, I'm an average traveler, maybe. And so for me to come over here, then, it's like for example, if I was still living in California, it's like $1,000 ish, and like, like 1,500 round trip, let's say. And then I come over and I do like 2-3 weeks or whatever. And then I get really excited and I leave. And then I, try and get back here as soon as possible. Okay. And I take luggage, and I have a backpack and I know where I'm going, or I don't know where I'm going, or I'm going to a new place, or I'm going to Phuket, or I'm going to these very touristy areas. And to do that with a small group, unfortunately, I would submit the easiest way to limit that is to be like, okay, so let's only allow people in that have means, and so all you like 30-day stamp in people, sorry, dude, that's not happening. You're going to have to stay here for at least 30 days. And quite frankly, even if like none of this medically goes awry, I would submit that this is an excellent thing, because heaven forbid it does. At least they can be like, at least those people won't be like, well, I'm going to leave. It's only been 2.5-3 weeks. It's like, no, dude, you're staying for 30 days. Like, you kind of committed. Now, I'm quite certain that if you put the white flag up and you said, oh my God, I've got to get home because of this or this or this or this reason, I have a feeling that the Thai government isn't going to throw you in jail for understaying your visa. Okay. But again, all of this is fluid. All of this changes, and much of this gets sort of discussed throughout the end of the week and then the weekend. And then on Tuesdays, a lot of times they will bring it to the cabinet meeting, vote on it. And then Wednesday, it just sort of gets announced as something that is happening, until the next time they announce something that is happening that could or could not basically, counteract what has just occurred. But yeah, I completely think it's a great idea, Bruce. And because it's going to be this small sample size, and then they're going to be able to like, okay, so we like did this with 1,500 people, which if you don't know, like, for example, like in radio, as well as other sort of sampling, you get 1,500 people sampled. And I don't even know if it's going to be that many, quite frankly. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, something that I know about radio. So when you do ratings, you basically survey 1,500 people. And with that amount and that number, you can effectively extrapolate out and say, okay, this is the 1,500 people sample that we did. So based on that, this city of, 5 million, these are what the majority, they listen to this station, they do this, they watch this, they buy these cars, and that sort of thing. So 1,500 seems to be, and again, I do not know what the sample size goal is. I've also heard that there are limitations to the amount of people that they're going to be letting into Bangkok. Okay. And of course, this is you fly into Phuket. So I get that. But as far as, people that are being repatriated or people that have a, oh God, what's it called? That's so horrible. I forgot. The visa that's really awesome and expensive. Elite visa. Thank you. If you have one of those and you have all the paperwork and you're allowed to get in and you get the stamp and then you have all of the stuff ready, right? And then you're going to say, yes, I'll quarantine for 14 days. I believe there's, actually, I'm sorry. I thought there was 200. There's 500 people. No, wait. I can't remember. There's either 500 or 200 people per day. I know if Dorman was here, if Todd was here, he would absolutely correct me. And so I apologize that I'm not getting his data correct. But let's just say for the sake of argument, 200 maximum for that up in Bangkok. I don't know what the maximum number is they're going to allow in per day down in HKT, Phuket International, but it'll be interesting to watch. And again, it's only September 3rd, and they're saying, yeah, we're going to do this October 1st. Well, there's a lot of time between, there's a lot of green, as we used to say. When I used to play pool and the balls were farther down the table than I'd like, and the angle wasn't just as I'd be a lot of green there. There's a lot of green there, so there's a lot of future in our way. Caesar says someone was saying foreclosures in the U.S. are starting to ramp way up because of COVID. Well, I don't know who that was. I have a very good friend who does appraisals, home appraisals. And when like the COVID thing first started and nobody was allowed to go out, this is in San Diego, nobody was allowed to go outside. He was still working full tilt boogie. He had way more people wanting to get their property's value assessed so that they could either sell it or refi. It wasn't just like, oh my God, everyone wants to refi because the rates are like 2.5%, 3% if you do a 15 or who knows. But the other thing too, Caesar, is that I would caution you about saying, okay, foreclosures in the U.S. is a big place. So, I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't foreclosures within the boundaries of that 335 million populous country. But I mean, it really varies so significantly. I mean, being from California, doing 2008, 2009, obviously California went way up and then they also really crashed down. Las Vegas had a gigantic peak and then went down. But of course, that's Las Vegas. That didn't mean all of Nevada did the same thing. So it's really regional. But what I have heard from my friend who continuously assesses properties like 6, 7 a day is that is not happening in San Diego. So Amber Hotel and Hooters next to it are closed. No pool party till further notice. More good vibes from Aztec. Man, he is just laying it. Oh, I know why. Because he's trying to cram it all in the first 45 minutes. All good, buddy. You're 28 minutes in. You got so many more good vibes to hang out there. So that's awesome. Mango says, Mike, were you able to hook up with Rob and Fawn when he was in Bangkok? I think he's leaving today, which was yesterday, your time. I did. It was great. I cruised over to his place. We went down to, you potentially have seen videos from it in the past. It's called Jack's. It's like this kind of like this. It's like this. It's like an old wooden shack, effectively. That's kind of like out on a pier right there on the Chao Phraya River. And if you, okay. So you might not be. Yeah. So he did this for, what does he call them? The squirrels. So he did this for his YouTube members and his Patreons. So yeah. So I was going to say, wait a minute, didn't he do video? And yeah, he did, but he didn't put it up on YouTube. It was like his weekly update. So yeah. So I cruised over there and we hung out. We had lunch and that was great. Not with Fawn. It was just me and Rob. And so I've never met Fawn. But what's interesting is her business basically is a placement agency for teachers, right? Well, I figured, okay, so it's English teachers, whatever. And I just sort of said, well, that's not something that I'll be sort of interfacing with regularly or have the need to, unless I need a friend. I have a friend that's, in need of a job and needs to be placed. So and he says, oh, yeah, and whether it's, English or math or whatever. I said, wait, it's not just, he said, oh, no. I said, does she do universities? because that would be really awesome. So I may actually end up reaching out to her to find out if she's, because basically her contacts, right, and the way that she gets paid, I believe, is through the organizations, like the places that teach English, math, whatever, and potentially universities come to her and say, look, we need a professor, we need this, and this. He's got to be this tall and this color, and he's got to have this accent, and he's got to be able to be this age, and that sort of thing. Because if you don't know, that's actually that's what's part of your resume. Unlike in the United States, where that would be highly illegal, here you have to attach a photo to your resume frequently. And they absolutely can say in the job, oh yeah, this, IT, worked in IT, knows all this great knowledge, bachelor's of science, electrical engineering, blah, 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 blah. Oh, but you have to be under 35. Right? And of course, I guess I understand why they do that here. It's just that it's so obtuse, coming from the United States. It's like, so let me guess, in the interview, are you going to be like, so Mike, what's your sexual preference? Are you going to have a baby? How much debt are you in? Are you going to, where did you grow up? What's your pedigree, for God's sake? It's a little bit excessive, but I've actually never been for a job interview here in Thailand. So I don't know if they even do that or whether I'm just sort of making up a scenario that sounds funny in my head. Andy, right. Too many people claiming to know stuff about it that they read somewhere and actually don't know jack. I think it's too soon to be planning vacations. Well, okay. Again, of course, the answer to everything is it depends, right? I'm planning vacations all the time. I just went down to, I know what you mean. You mean coming from outside of Thailand and coming in, but there's no harm in planning, man. Agree. Thailand is taking a lead on this. It's a good thing, despite the naysayers. A lot to gain, not much to lose. Totally. Think about it, right, Bruce? Because it's like they've got this, well, I was going to say petri dish, but that's probably not really appropriate. But they've got this laboratory where they can really do a whole lot of testing with this. Not to mention the fact, I had a buddy who was over at Bumrungrad recently. He's like, dude, it is crickets in there. So and again, it's not like, okay, well, if the Thais get sick, they don't all just walk into Bumrungrad and say, hey, here's my card. Give me the, so I get that. It's a private hospital. And of course, much of their income came from elective surgeries and that sort of thing. Well, okay, not that like a heart transplant is not needed, but the point is that you don't need to go to Bumrungrad for it. You're not like down the, oh my God, what did did someone just super chat me? What's going, Nico? Super sticker, buddy. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. That's just like so cool. You're my hero. Indeed, if you guys don't know, he's the first person to ever give any money to this channel. So thank you, my friend. Good to see you, Nico. Glad you're here, man. Glad you are here. Anyway, so I think it's a great place to test it. And again, the cool thing is they're not just testing it medically, right? They're basically going to be testing sort of the economics of it. Whether this whole because you got to at least what I've heard thus far, you got to stay 14 days, which is basically 15 days. And then you got to get checked. And then you can go out, I believe it's a kilometer radius for the next 7 days. And then after that, then apparently if everything is still clear and everything's hunky-dory, you're not sick, you're not giving it to anybody, no one's giving it to you, then I believe you can travel throughout Thailand. But again, that is what is the key. Oh, wow. What is this? Are you guys going to start one-upping at each other? One sticker at a time? From Nico to Aztec, ladies and gentlemen. Aztec, thank you so much, dude. You guys are so cool. I really appreciate that. You know what I did? I want to let you guys know. I wrote it down because I knew I'd forget. I actually did go get some Khao Man Gai because Rupert gave me some super chat money for that. I went and got a coconut smoothie as well as a mango smoothie, not because mango sticky rice gave me money, but because someone else did some super chat money. And but the problem was the majority of the time I was doing this, I was basically running in between umbrellas to buy these things. So I was like, I can't take my phone out. It's going to be, and I'm like, oh man, the guys are going to be so bummed, right? So anyway, I do want to let you guys know that I actually do use the money that you give me to eat, but to enjoy my life too. But they were, anyway, so it was neat though, because I had a list actually, and it was like, okay, well, he told me to get a smoothie. He told me to get a smoothie. He told me to get some Khao Man Gai. And there's one other thing too that I wrote down that I I don't know if I've done that yet, but I figured, okay, well, when I'm in Pattaya, what I'll do is I'll do it down there. But, you know, I mean, it's kind of like rainy season. And it's not necessarily like rainy season in the sense that it rains every day. This is more the time of year, especially in Pattaya, when it rains like a lot for a short amount of time, but floods like crazy. September, October-ish can kind of happen like that. But who knows? I have not been down to Pattaya much. And in fact, I probably am not going to stay a long time. I have some friends that I'm going to meet up with Friday at tomorrow, like at 6 p.m.-ish over in Jomtien. I think it's 6. And then I meet some buddies for coffee on Saturday morning. But then I only have a hotel for one night, so I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to stay. I'm considering staying over on the Jomtien side. I have never stayed over there. I've only taken the bot bus all the way over there and hung out. But I like it over there. I like the meetings over there. I like, the sort of vibe over there. I like the night market over there when it's not filled with Russians. And but anyway, so I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I may cruise down there, and I may be down there at a time when it just rains so freaking crazy much. That I will be up to my knees in water for 15 minutes. And he says, especially considering alternative state quarantine costs being more than I would spend for a month. Well, right. But again, it's not designed for us travelers, as they say. Happy to just wait. I don't want to buy Elite for 2 years yet, so it carries me. Yeah, absolutely. There's one of the guys on the channel here, and he's shared this before, Todd Dorman. He's got his Elite visa, but he was also like, look, dude, I got to get out of here. I mean, he was planning for it anyway. So he has a Cambodian visa as a backup just to get the heck over to this part of the world. And he says, make sure to hit the like button for oh man, thank you. You're so cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. Dude did the thumbs down. Yeah. You know what, dude, honest to God, it's like basically I have a piece of black tape, or sometimes I use whiteout on my screen, and I just put it right over that. I'm like, that metric is so irrelevant to me that it's just it doesn't even exist. It's just how many people liked it? Cool. Now, that, to be fair, if someone actually sent me a message and says, okay, here's what I don't particularly like about it, then I'm like, okay, well, I'll take that under advisement. I'm not going to necessarily change because, again, my channel is me and me doing stuff. And Rob's channel is him doing stuff. And I don't do Rob stuff, and he doesn't do. Whoa. What do we got going on right now? What did I do? Okay, oh, my God. Okay, this has never happened to me before, guys. I can only see 4 at the top. And there's 5. Oh my God, this is amazing. Mario, take that. Yeah, well, 3.33 euro. What is that? Is that like 5 US? Because it puts it in your local currency, I think. But that's awesome, dude. Thank you. How dare you out super chat me? Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. That's so cool. And then Nico double clicks for $1.50 now on a super sticker. And then Aztec comes back in for the win right at the end. You guys are so cool, man. This is neat. It's yeah, there's your answer, Andy, to who gave the thumbs down. It's definitely Rob. He's excited to make sure. Yeah, exactly. Rather than say anything, he just lurks in the background and says, I know where he got the idea to shave his head. Waited out for a while. Yeah, I agree with you guys. And honestly, this is so cool. I didn't, it's so funny. Super stickers, I really don't know what they are. The only reason I would say maybe you shouldn't do super stickers is because I don't think you can say anything. Like for Mariano, right? When you super chat, you can type. I'm not saying you need to spend more money to do, but the point is that as far as I know, with the super sticker, all you can do is give a super stick. And in fact, I'm over here on StreamYard, and I'm not looking on the YouTube site, so I can't even see what those stickers are. I just assume that they're pictures of naked ladyboys for some reason. You guys just no judgment, but whatever. But Tim says anti-discrimination laws in an employment law context is the hallmark of a big and successful economy. The U.S. is a leading light on this, but you might not think that by watching the news. Yeah. Well, there's a number of negative things that you would assume are the only things that occur by watching the news, Tim. And do you know why I know that? Because I used to be in the news. I used to produce the news. I used to be a broadcaster. I used to do that. And the more negative and the more controversial, it's the only reason guys what was that guy? His name was Jerry. and he did a talk show, and people used to like throw chairs at him. So, oh my God, it was just I want to play too. See, that's cool, right? With the soup, then you can like, chat stuff in there and say, ha ha, screw you, Mike. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate it, buddy. You're totally awesome. All you guys are totally awesome. And the guys that don't give me money, trust me, you're equally as awesome. It's just awesome in a different way. And again, look at, I don't hate money. Okay. It's just really neat, that you guys, I really appreciate it. Let me just say that. So anyway, so that's my plan. I'm going to leave. What I want to do tomorrow actually is I want to kind of get up. Here's the thing. Like I mentioned, I could see my buddies like for coffee on Saturday morning. If I get down to Pattaya early enough and I'm able to get over to, Avenue. Do you guys know Avenue? It's like that mall. It's only like a 2 or 3, maybe it's even 4 stories, but it's not a very large mall. Anyway, it's on the back of like, I think Soi 12/2, maybe 12-1, off of 2nd Road. It's got a movie theater upstairs. I'm confident it's probably closed. Many of the shops in there were closed when I was there in January, so I'm sure it's probably closed. There's a Starbucks there. There's a McDonald's there. There used to be an Au Bon Pain, and that's gone. There used to be a pizza place. That was gone in January. So I'm quite certain it's probably a parking structure for motorbikes. But anyway, so I meet guys usually over there near the Starbucks, and we grab some coffee in the mornings. And so if I get down there early enough tomorrow, then I may be able to do that. What I want to do is I believe that the BTS is full on back on regular schedule, at least for the beginning. So because of that, I believe that means it starts at 5:15. Now, when everything is happening normally, the buses, which is how I get to Pattaya, because I'm just like, oh yeah, I just want to sit. I like the buses. They're cool. Well, okay. I like the buses now, the way I've experienced them lately, in the sense that nobody is permitted to sit next to me. Okay. However, I have seen sometimes, I've never had anyone sit next to me, but I have been on the last 2 buses I think I took. There were people in front of me or behind me that were sitting next to me. Okay, wait, hold on. I gotta, what is Aztecs? I want to go to Kevin's thing. Those who don't give money have more. Indeed. Yes, absolutely. More brains than brawn. We're just broke. There you go. I love it, you guys. That's great. Don Muang just got hit by monsoon storm. Okay, so here's why. Oh my God, you guys are just, I'm going to get back to you, Kevin, I promise. Okay, first of all, so Nico, now so you went from 99 to 149 to 199. So this is like, you guys are, is this a trajectory? Like, in other words, if I do a 7-hour live stream, it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to give him $79.95. Oh yeah, I'm going to give him $79.99, $81.20. Here it comes, $84.99 in the, maybe not. Hashtag no brains. No brains, all brawn, Mango. All brawn, baby. Oh, here we go. Now he's kicking it up a notch. Super sticker for 2. Oh, good for you. How does it? I mean, I don't even. Do you guys type it in? Like, I can't remember the last time I super stickered or super chatted. Like, do you type a number in, or is there like a drop? Because that's what I don't particularly like about the membership thing on YouTube. Is there's set amounts. Like, I can't, and I understand the marketing and the reasoning behind convincing people that something is $.99, because even though everybody knows that $.99 is the same as, let me just round this up, it's not $14.99, it's $15, fine. But I do believe that the statement about the psychological, it is accurate that people believe that it is somehow less than $15. So therefore they sell things at $14.99, and people spend $14.99 all day long where they wouldn't spend $15 or they wouldn't spend $15.01. I don't know if I do that. Maybe subconsciously I do, and I just don't know. But in any case, I'm just curious about that. And 30, oh, there we go. What you got going on? 33 likes. That's huge. YouTube membership is up to you. Yeah, I mean, again, wait, what? Really? I didn't know. I thought, because here's what's crazy, and thank you guys for this, because I had so many hours of watch time. YouTube emailed me and they're like, look, we know you don't have, I don't know, geez, I think it's 30,000 subs. Maybe it's only like 10,000 subs or something like that. But there was a minimum number of subs you had to have to be eligible for membership. So they send me this thing and they're like, look, crazy ass time watch hours. And that's when I would, do, I mean, right now I'm only doing 44 minutes and 32 seconds, which, I mean, I don't want to kick you out of the cool kids table, Aztec. but you did kind of commit to only doing 45 minutes. Now, let me just say, I would prefer if you stayed longer. But before you get into trouble for not going to the lame kids table, I just need to report to you that as of 4, 3, 2, 1, bam, you have now been here 45 minutes. But I will take it all day long, buddy. You stay here. You stay here, my friend. Okay, so I want to get back to this with Kevin. So here's what's funny. So if you guys remember the live stream I did from Lumpini Park. Now, Lumpini Park is approximately south. It's fairly south of Dam Muang Airport. And so Kevin is up there, right? So I'm doing this like live stream, and the wind is like kind of blowing and stuff, and I'm under umbrellas purposely because I'm like, okay, it might rain. That's just fine. So I'm doing it, and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it. And then I'm like, you know what, guys? And so then it would rain, and it would rain like it does in Southeast Asia. It would rain for like 15 minutes really hard, and then it would kind of stop and dissipate, and then it would, stop altogether. Then the wind would pick up, and then like another little sort of storm flash thing would come, and I'd be like, okay, great. And then that stopped again. I said, okay, awesome. Here's the deal. I need to walk back to the BTS/MRT. I'm going to take my gimbal. I'm going to put the phone on that, and we're all going to walk through Lumpini Park happily ever after. And even though there's the potential rain, but I had like something to cover my phone. So I'm thinking, okay, this will be cool. Okay, so then Kevin's like, yeah, Mike, I don't know. There might be this storm coming from Don Muang, and like it come through. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it sounds pretty good. So then I'm getting ready to like take my phone, and it was one of those like gusts of wind that came. I said, okay, it's no big deal. And then another gust came, and like 80% of all the umbrellas around me, they're just like, they just like fly across the field. And I'm like, okay, well, gratefully, I'm obviously a lot heavier than an umbrella, so I think I'm good. I got pretty much, strap myself to terra firma before I start getting hucked across the field like Sally Strutt. And so in Gone with the Wind. And so I was just like, okay, I should be fine. And then the wind comes, and then the rain comes. Now, my point to this silly story is the fact that from that day forward, whenever Kevin tells me about a storm coming, I pay attention because it was one of those I think I told you guys before. So I said, oh my God. So I put my phone in a plastic bag. I got my umbrella out. I walk out. I'm like maybe like a block's worth basically on the path in Lumpini. And the wind comes, and my umbrella goes, I was like, oh God. Because you look like I look like such a goofball, loser, nerd. Like I don't know how to manage my own umbrella, if it like goes like this somehow. And of course, there was a Thai woman right in front of me, right? And like I've always said, and maybe you've experienced this too, the Thais know exactly when it's going to rain. So she's walking in a fairly slow pace, and she's got her umbrella, and she's purposely like aiming it into the wind. And I'm like, okay, right. Rookie move. I forgot to do that. Fine. So I do that. It flops back down, and she like looks over, and I just say to her, I say, hey, is the exit, this way? And she says, yeah. I said, great. So we start sort of walking together. So she's still in front of me, but like we're basically right. And so behind me, I hear this, and this tree falls. Now, okay, like, obviously it's mud-ish, and, the tree falls, right? So we walk like another 100 meters, tree falls. Another 100 meters, tree falls behind us. And I'm like, is this like some silly movie thing this is bizarre. It's like, when the guy's running on the bridge, and the bridge is like decaying after him as he's like running across. What is it? Mission Impossible kind of thing, right? And so she looks back, and she's like, okay, second one, again, second tree comes. She looks back, Thai woman, not concerned. And I'm thinking, okay, so I'm good. Then like the third one comes, and she looks at me like, oh, that's never happened before. I'm like, what, in the history of Thailand? Like there's never been 3 trees synchronously that have just, oh no, I'm waiting for the ground to open up and my umbrella to get back to be I was just like, oh man, this is bad news. So anyway, Kevin says a monsoon is coming. So guess what? It is. Anyway, and again, if I didn't say thank you so much, Aztec, for the super sticker, dude. You're so cool. I really appreciate it, man. That's awesome. And thank you for coming by for the time that you did. That means a lot. So YouTube membership, 50 likes. What the, did I? I don't know. I don't know about that. If I do, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. It tells me that there's 29 watching, and then I have 2 thumbs up on Facebook. I don't get the metric. For some reason, the metric for likes on YouTube does not populate StreamYard, which is kind of, you set up the one level and you get to choose the number. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, Andy. I just don't really know. I kind of like this interaction more than, and then that way everyone can see, right? Like not just the people that pay, right? It's like, well, you didn't pay me $4 a month, so clearly you're not going to be able to see this video. But I can also appreciate the fact that people do. I don't know what you do on yours, but I can appreciate the fact that people, they do like membership only videos, and because it's not necessarily public, they can get like, a little bit more intimate, a little bit more clarity. They can give a little bit more of their own opinion. They can be less politically correct. And so I totally get that. And so that's pretty cool. Tim's going to take his boy to the nursery. Great chat. Thank you for fitting in with daylight hours in Europe. Absolutely, Tim. Thank you for the recommendation. And so just so you know, all Tim did, I believe, was email. He got into my inbox or somehow, maybe he messaged me. I don't remember. But just so you know, I mean, all he did is, for the sake of argument, email me at livemyassoff@gmail.com, gave me this recommendation, and 24 hours later, I'm deploying it. And now I'm basically doing it about twice a week. No, once a week. I think I'm doing a morning stream. Well, I'm doing Sunday with Jeremy. And then Mondays I do Tuesdays we do the live stream with Bangkok Strange, the new Bangkok Strange podcast. And then we drop a video, I think, later that evening on Tuesday nights. And then, so tonight's Thursday, I'm doing one. Oh, I'm also going to do one Saturday night. The idea is to do it from Pattaya. But I'm not going to like go to a bar and like sit, right? What I want to do, ideally, is to start at about 5:30 and do it at sunset. And I'm going to see if, I can just use one camera and turn it around, right? But I want to be able to see if I can get the sunset in there, because obviously many of you aren't at the beach with me, except Scuba Tom. He's at an amazing beach, right? So he's like, Mike, I don't need your sunset. I got my own. But many people don't have one. So I thought I'd share that. So that would be good. Just got in. Don't leave me now. Oh, no, I'm not leaving, dude. I just got to let you know that Kevin let us know that there's a monsoon coming. So we got to be prepared for that. So money over fannies. Okay. I swear it wasn't that. I thought it was money over honeys. Maybe that's a different channel. Anyway, sorry. Distraction. Facepalm, you changed your name. Very good. You see, all I got to do is just wait, and then you guys like figure stuff out. So very good. 60 likes. Oh, come on. You guys are, okay, I got to look. You guys are giving me a hard time. Are you serious? Or are you just like, yeah, we've got 6 likes. Tell Mike he's got 6. Tell Mike he's got 60 because his ego's so damn fragile. Okay, so it tells me I got 26. Oh, my. Wow. Wow, guys. Thank you. 69 thumbs. I don't care about the 2 thumbs down. But 69 thumbs up, that's outstanding. All right, I'll put this on pause and I'll leave this there because I believe that, wow, hey, thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Yeah, somebody copied. It's a serious form of flattery, buddy. Don't worry. There's only 26 watching. I don't know. Well, they don't all stay, right? They just come and they're like, yeah, I like it, but I'm not really, and then of course Tim had to go drop his son off at the nursery school. So Kevin, yeah, I remember that day. Glad you survived the storm. Dude, it was so amazing. And it was one of those deals where I just said to myself, this is the day I need to have a silly GoPro, because the new ones are totally waterproof, even without the silly clear case that's like watertight, obviously. But I don't have one of those. And well, I do. I've got I use when I do pigeon cam, right? So that's basically a GoPro that I just have plugged into the HDMI or /USB connection. And so I just use it as a webcam. But for the most part, I've tried to record with that. It'll only do about, even though the battery doesn't die, it'll only do like about 15 or 20 minutes. So it's like I turn it on and inevitably it stops before I want it to, and so it's like not recording something that I wanted it to. But yeah, that would have been great to be able to just go out into the weather basically and do it. I don't get real concerned about lightning. It occurs like a lot here, and But I don't know. I said, well, I'm not real, I mean, I'm taller than the people around me traditionally, but it's not like I have a, metal spike coming out of my head yet. The night's young. Couple more super chats and we will. God, mystery Thai. No way, dude. Buddha digs me. I'm walking around. I got my Buddha, and he's just like, plenty of time for enlightenment, Mike. Plenty of time. Don't worry. Pay no attention to the falling trees behind you that weigh 70 tons. This is irrelevant to your future, young man. Just keep walking. Stay with the bald thing. Potentially orange shirts. Don't do the plaid. Get a full orange jumpsuit. Start walking around with that trust me. Yep. Enlightenment is on the way, my friend. 70 thumbs up. How the hell? I don't know. I mean, that's cool though, right? I mean, I hope it's not like some mistake, that Google's like, well, YouTube, Google. Even my storm umbrella wouldn't pretend. Okay, so that's a great question. So I asked my buddy and his Thai wife the other day. Oh, so here's an interesting thing. So I said, look, obviously you see this happening to umbrellas all the time. But for God's sake, we live over here in the land of the monsoon and the intense wind and whatever. And so I'm like, okay, there's got to be storm umbrellas. Okay. So then I think to myself, all right, I'll try and find this. My buddy tells me, no, you got to have like the opening, like where there's basically like the top of the umbrella. And then there's, the fabric comes down. And then underneath that, there's like some air gap basically. And then there's the rest of the umbrella. And he's like, no, as long as it has that, the air will go through and it won't flip up. I said, well, spoiler alert, that's false, at least for the umbrella that I had. Now, to be fair, I have an umbrella that was basically given to me. It was one of these sort of things that, a company puts their logo on and then they give it to you, right? It's a decent one. I mean, it's not like, I was just about to say, well, it's not like it's made in China. Of course it's made in China. Every umbrella in the history of the universe for the last 10 years has been made in China. The point is that it's not horrible, but it certainly isn't a storm umbrella. Anyway, he says to me, he said, sorry, guys. It's a very weird thing. This used to occur for me in the mornings, and I thought I basically fixed it in the sense that I updated the drivers on my Dell Chromebook for the wireless radio, and so therefore it wasn't doing it anymore. But it's like 7 p.m. For some reason, around this time at night, I noticed that this happens, whether I'm streaming or not. And I look over on my router, and the Wi-Fi is fine. It hasn't jumped out. I go from 2.4 to 5 gigs, and then I also have an extended router, so I use sometimes that radio. So I don't know whether it's just like the time of night where so many people get on that basically the 2.4 gigahertz band just gets hammered. And then for some reason, my router's like, oh my God, we can't. There's too many people on this channel. And it moves from like 1, 6, or 11 or whatever. Anyway, I apologize. But if you guys have watched me long enough, you're probably like, oh, here he goes again. Here's part of the Mike's entertainment package is the whirling dervish. But yeah, I got to figure out money. I got to figure out how to get a bitchin' storm umbrella. Because, well, I'm confident that they make them. My expectation, though, is that they're probably pretty heavy. What I do like about my umbrella is, when you crunch it up, basically it's like this long, and I can put it like, in the side mesh things of my backpack. So I can carry that with me, and then I can put my gear inside. And if it's like super sensitive, then I can put my gear inside in a plastic bag inside the waterproof, water resistant backpack. And then I'm good. But, I'm kind of at the point where it's like, okay, well, all I got to do is carry a really heavy, decent storm umbrella for maybe like 2 months. So I don't know. It's just like Patreon, but easier. Well, I agree, Andy, as far as the membership thing goes, because here's the beauty of it. It's inside of YouTube, right? So people don't need to go outside of it. So I would agree with you on that one. I think it's a great idea as far as, whether you're going to have one or the other. Rod from Amazing Philippines was saying taxi drivers are doing it tough in Cebu but I'm guessing it's all over the. Oh, you mean, in other words, they have no cash, they have no customers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, no, what's interesting here in Bangkok is basically not necessarily the taxi drivers, but certainly the motorbike taxi drivers. Those guys basically just took off their orange vests and they put on green ones and pink ones. And they're like, look, dude, we're either driving for Grab Food, Food Panda. And these guys were killing it, especially when there was lockdown. And it's like, okay, I really, I shouldn't go outdoors unless it's absolutely necessary. There were curfews and that sort of thing. I mean, there was this new grocery delivery service called Happy Fresh here. It's got an app and everything. Not in everything. It's got an app. Of course, it has an app. Every deployment that occurs on the web has an app. I don't know why I thought that was exceptional. But in any case, Happy Fresh, right? So everyone's like not everyone. Many people are getting things delivered. And it's like, the restaurants weren't open, markets weren't open. So everyone's not everyone. Many people. I was getting food delivered. So I started using Happy Fresh. Well, it got to the point where like even 4 or 5 days out, I could not schedule someone to come to my house. They're just like, we're sorry, we don't have enough drivers. We're hiring drivers as fast as we possibly can. I would see guys that would like drive up and they would forget to put their Happy Fresh vest on, or like they would have like tape around their green Grab food basket on the back of their thing. And they would just like put a bag over it and be like, oh yeah, Happy Fresh. It's like, I don't care if you're lying to me, dude, as long as my groceries show up, And anyway, so I will tell you that if you're around here and you're using Happy Fresh, or if that app exists where you live too, which I don't believe it does. I don't believe it's as ubiquitous as Grab. But their customer service is exceptional. But now, like, for example, yesterday, I'm out somewhere and it's like 4 or 5 and I'm like, oh man, I should go grocery shopping. Well, that's fine. But like, me by myself with my backpack, I'm like, okay, great. I can basically buy like 5 kilos worth of food. Otherwise, I'm just like, so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to have it all delivered. And this happened to me this time, as well as probably the last 10 times. I go in, I put everything in the cart, right? And I get all the groceries ready, and then I go submit, and then you choose the delivery time. And rarely do I have to even go to the next day. I mean, I ordered this at like 3:30, and the next available window was 7 to 9 p.m. And it was pouring rain last night, wasn't it, Kevin? I mean, I was so grateful that like I didn't have to go. This guy came. I mean, he had a full-on foul weather gear with like these blue shoes on and everything. He's incredibly gracious, and he was just a great guy. But he's barreling through just water everywhere. They even sent me a message. They're like, "Hey, look, the delivery's going to be delayed a little bit because there's rain right now." And like, okay, fine, it's coming. I'm not worried about it. And I was like, I don't know, what did I buy? Like 2,000 baht worth of groceries or something like that. And so, okay. So I buy 2,000 baht worth of groceries, like $60 worth of groceries, basically $65. And they put it all in these like, really thin, clear plastic bags, right? And you can use the sort of, I've wanted and have in the past, I've used those sort of like reusable ones. But after ordering like 3 or 4 things of groceries, now it's like, okay, well, great. Now I have like 17 reusable bags, and I can't like give them back to the Happy Fresh distribution center so they can reuse them. So now I have all these freaking orange bags all over. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I'm like, all right, just give me the plastic ones. And so whether I order 1 bag full of food or 100 bags of food, 6 baht for all of the bags. Delivery is 66 baht, no matter how much I order. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But here's the thing. Like I said, like I can order something and they're available within minutes, literally within an hour, less than an hour. They can come to my house with all my groceries. But because that's happening and there's like there's less demand, I just, honestly, what reminds me to buy groceries is that the app pings me and they're like, oh, if you order now, then you'll get free delivery. So for 6 baht, which is 20 cents, I got all my groceries delivered, right? Not to mention the fact that I must have saved at least 40% on the groceries. And because it's from Big C, right? And so Big C is in huge competition with Tesco Lotus, and they're both available on the app. So they go back and forth. Oh no, 45% off, 55% off, 25% off. Oh no, 30% off. And they and they give you free stuff. So I ordered a bottle of vinegar, which I don't really cook with for the most part. I just use it to have on hand, and I use it to clean my coffee maker. It's pretty much the only thing that I use it for. and there was like an additional spoon attached to it, and so like I ordered cereal, and there was like they like tape like extra stuff to it. Every time I order this one kind of cereal, I get a plastic spoon that's got like Cody, the character from the Line app, like the little kid. So that I've got like 10 of these. I mean, I get all this extra stuff, and it's just like. So anyway, so I'm a big fan of it. So all I will say is that hopefully those guys are pivoting, as is said, and they're able to say, okay, well, I can't drive humans around, but I can drive other things around. Again, I don't know what the sort of proliferation is in the Philippines of delivery service. I know for the most part, LBC is sort of their big delivery service, and it's effectively unreliable. It's reliably late, always. It's always delayed. It's never on time. Their communication is bad, but it always gets there, right? So anyway, that's just been my experience with LBC. We were able to chat with Jeremy before he took off to Pattaya, as in his last vlog, he mentioned he was, that nonsense that he gets. So the short answer is I don't believe he's even down there yet. It's Thursday here right now, and I don't know that he left to go yet. I actually thought I was potentially going to get there before him, because I'll probably get there tomorrow morning. But yeah, that's a drag, right? Bangkok Strange is a good show, by the way, guys. Hey, thank you, Aztec. Thank you very much. In fact, what I'm going to do is part of my break this evening. We're only about an hour and 10 minutes in, but I want to get something cooler. This is when it gets room temperature, I just lose interest. So I need to get a cool and refreshing beverage. And I'm going to play for you guys a little sample of the Bangkok Strange podcast, which is me and my buddy Dana. Very easy to find. You just go to YouTube and you type in Bangkok Strange. Additionally, if you're on Spotify or iTunes or Google Podcasts or whatever, if you type in Bangkok Strange, you will see us show up there. What's awesome, and this is like, I have to give all the credit to Dana on this one. If you type the word Bangkok in Spotify, our podcast shows up as the first one. And I was like, wow, because look, it's not like it's an unknown city. Okay, maybe there's not as much content coming out of Bangkok as there is out of Boston, maybe, or Los Angeles, New York City. But the point is that it's really pretty easy to find. So at the end of the day, Bangkok Strange and Aztec, thank you so much for the plug. I appreciate it. Laugh out loud, distracted by my profile pic. Yeah. Always. Just saw a poster on BTS downtown. Condos marked down, millions of baht, up to 50. Yeah, I know. I wonder what those ones. I wonder if they're going to decrease those ones that are right. The giant queue, right on Sukhumvit. I believe it's at the Nana BTS stop, and minimum 30 million baht. $1 million for a condo right on Sukhumvit in Bang. I never thought I would see the day. I mean, it's one thing to have the penthouse to be really expensive, whatever, and the other ones be like, $1 million baht, that sort of thing. But I never thought there would be a building where the lowest price condo is $1 million. That is amazing. But yeah, I've seen those things too on the BTS. They're like, it's not like fire sale, but again, you got to remember these are like brand new, and so there's always sort of some competition. To get people in if, in fact, the property didn't sell out early. So, hey, Hike, good to see you, man. Hello, Alabama. Did you say enlightenment? Are you on the path? I guess I am. I'm certainly not off the path. I can tell you that right now. I'm on my path, and so far, so good. I dig Buddha, and Buddha digs me. So I dig it. I am pleased with the results of the limited amount of Buddhist knowledge I have, as well as the limited ceremonies of it that I participate in. It makes me feel better. So that's pretty cool. What does he say to him? Now we're never going to know. What? Oh, shoot. Am I that far behind? When is this? 6:57 and it's 7:08? Yeah, I'm not too far behind. Frozen image on YouTube. Yes. Don't you just love that, Mariano? So frustrating. I did get hit by lightning, actually, and we can all blame Kevin for that because he didn't let me know soon enough. I know, Dennis. Trust me, it is imperfect. It's the infamous consumer grade internet I have here in my condo, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to ping them again. I just think it was someone who was not knowledgeable, because I do in fact have two like jacks, like two ports basically coming into my condo, and AIS has used one, but I'm confident that like down in the MPO, there's probably another one that I have AIS right now, and so I'm thinking I should be able to get True for another one, because it kind of. Now, to be fair, look at I cannot complain to StreamYard, and if I do, or when I do, they respond with, okay, so like, are you using wireless? Because wired is more reliable. Okay, maybe. I mean, there's certainly less interference, that's for sure. But it's a new router that I have, and they're pretty well versed at doing channel hopping without dumping out. So, oh yeah, so Gracie was giving me some information on her. On her sort of the scenario that's occurring where she's living, and she said they're going to issue a quarantine pass, one for each for the whole family, so maybe one per household. And she's in bed, and she says enjoy streaming. So there you go. Awesome. That's pretty cool. What time is it? 8:00. Yeah. I mean, she's on farm time basically, right? So in other words, she wakes up when it's light out, and she goes to sleep after it's dark. Well, she goes to sleep, but she rests and then watches Netflix. She and I kind of have the same sort of evening paradigm, where it's like we eat and then we sort of watch Netflix, and then we end up, kind of going to bed. So, oh boy, do I miss her dude like crazy. How about anti-storm umbrella as a head strap will free your hands? Well, see, I've seen those. I've seen the ones that go around this, and then they have the little umbrella, but the umbrella is never really large enough to even like cover your shoulders, right? But here's the thing. I've actually had like really, really good umbrellas. And I remember when we were doing this was a long time ago, but we were doing like this video shoot. It was in the summer in San Diego. And so the cameras were pretty expensive. And we had backpacks though. And they weren't just like regular backpacks with like clothes in them, right? They had gear in them. So they were fairly heavy, pretty robust. And we took these umbrellas and we shoved them down into the backpacks. And that allowed us to like cruise around. Don't know if I'm going to go that crazy because I probably wouldn't be let on the BTS, which is my preferred form of transportation here in the Big Mango. And so therefore, might end up jetpacking. Yes, absolutely. Did you see that jetpack guy, LAX, yesterday in the news? No, I can't believe So Aztec from Down Under knows more about the news in Los Angeles than I do. I do not watch the news. Two planes coming in to land. Tower, there's a guy up here. That's a good one. I'll have to watch that. Literally at 1,000 feet. Oh my God. Wow. That's frightening. You don't want to get yes, you don't want to get hit by a plane. What you also don't want to get hit by is by jet wash. Me and my buddy, we were up in his Cessna, man. And I tell you, you really got to climb real quick. If you're behind when a jet takes off in front of you, you got to get really up, so because otherwise the jet wash will get you. In a prop plane, that's like, what what is happening? From 8 million to 4 million. That's interesting. I'd love to see where those were. That's crazy. Shecky, good to see you. Thank you for coming by. 3.2 was the lowest adjusted, maybe. It is pretty low. You tested for MOB more, yeah. But was it Elon Musk? Yeah, absolutely right. Did it say Red Bull on the guy when you showed him there? Right on Sukhumvit in the heart of town and next to a huge built. Ah, man, yeah. Well, I mean, again, the competition's pretty fierce there. George says, "What do you think about Starlink for internet?" So I don't know about Starlink. Do you mean here in Bangkok? I don't know what Starlink is. I mean, look, here's the deal. It's not necessarily like the internet is really bad here. I mean, one could argue the internet in Bangkok overall is quite excellent. My building is older, and so therefore, unfortunately, there's no fiber to the condo. There's no fiber, FTTH, right? No fiber to the home. So unfortunately, it's copper that basically goes the infamous last mile, which is from the basement where it comes in on fiber, but then the distribution goes to copper. So it's kind of a drag. But no, I don't know about that. So let me know what it is. I will look into, or I will Google it later. But let me know what you think about it, and if you think it's going to be, what are the pluses and minuses? Love to know that, George. Elon Musk is in Germany at the moment. Yes, but he's got a guy for that. He's got guys that he'd be like, need you to get out on the runway, dude. We need some publicity. Get out there with your best, biggest Tesla umbrella, and we will see you hanging out. Yes, we can rule out Elon. Elon is the proprietor. Indeed. Yeah, for the moment, I think. Yeah, indeed. He's definitely been accused of that, hasn't he? Yes, indeed. Sale prices, just like stocks were many months ago. Everything was on sale. I think it started Banana BTS on the stairs on the south side. Yeah, I mean, I see one every day on Ekamai. Every day I'm at Ekamai. And same thing. I think it was like, I think it was 7.9, line through it, 4.3 million baht. Hey, have you eat? It's another form of greet. Hey, have you eat? It's another form of greeting in Thailand. Really? I'm not familiar. Like, how do you say it in Thai? My Thai is so bad. And I'm illiterate, which is so... but again, I don't want to really I don't want to at all take lessons until Gracie can get here, because I want us to be sort of at the same development level with Thai. Aztec says, I wish I bought a couple of condos 10 years ago. Well, you could say that for any market, quite frankly, right? Holes in the wall were only 40K Aussie back then. Oh, hole in the walls, yeah. Foreclosures all over town, but not so much in prime areas. None in chat. Really? How do you find out about foreclosures? You just like walk in a bank and they have the list? I'm always kind of curious how that works in other countries. Look at Government Housing Bank. Got a nice unit for about $7,500, but out of the center of town. Oh, that's right. Yes, they do in fact have a list. I forgot. It's all in Thai on their website. But yeah, that's right. You can get it up. Yeah, Caesar's got some play. He's got more than, I think he's got 3. I don't know. It's up to him to say, but yeah. Yeah, so he goes to take a bus for 20 minutes out to the BTS, which is simple to discount anything 50% when it's originally way overpriced. I completely agree with you, Dennis. I wasn't going to burst anyone's bubble, but I mean, let's face it, the condos in Bangkok are arguably overpriced to begin with. So now you could say that, well, they're less maybe, but they're more like correctly priced. Hello, Gracie. How you doing, honey? Good to see you. Hope you guys said hi to Gracie. I think you did. You usually do. Well, actually, if you're on YouTube, you probably didn't see her swing by until just then. So anyway, hi, honey. Have a good night. Hopefully life won't be too weird for the next couple of weeks as far as the oh boy, the quarantine thing or lockdown. Johnny Something's Having showed a place in Hawaii that had been sitting 7 years unsold. Oh yeah. I mean, there's always those. Oh, there you go. Awesome. Thank you so much, Aztec. I really appreciate it. You're awesome, buddy. How is Starlink going to work in place like Bangkok with massive cloud cover? I assume Starlink then is via satellite. Yeah. I mean, I'm familiar with satellite internet. I deployed that. I had a company that did that back in San Diego, as well as Northern Baja. My house in Northern Baja, my POPs, my points of presence that weren't in any major cities where I could get either DSL or fiber in Northern Baja were served by the solution that there's basically 2 satellite providers in the United States, Dish and DirecTV, and each of those came out with a internet solution about the same time. Starband was the name of the solution that was on the Dish platform, and DirecTV, I believe it was like Direct Connect or something like that. It was actually the Starband technology was a superior technology. Problem was the dish needed to be bigger. Obviously, it was, or not obviously, but it was bigger. It was also receive, transmit from the dish, and it was harder for the average installer. It was very easy for me. Actually, all you do is buy the right tool and have half a brain. and be able to use a compass. So I was certified in it. I was a certified trainer to train the trainers, that sort of thing, and deployed a bunch of those in San Diego. So Starband worked out really well. See, honey, I watched like until you say she watches until I say hi to her. So there you go. Awesome. Oh, she got her top braces off, by the way. Isn't she adorable? I think she is. I mean, why am I asking you guys? Who cares? I'm more than okay with my bias. So hold on. Bum, bum, bum. That's cool that she watches until I say something. Thank God. I never know where she is. So yeah, and so cloud/rain fade, it matters more when you're at a higher frequency. So usually when they do internet, they use a lower frequency than they would for TV. So anyway, but again, I don't know what the platform is. I'll have to look it up. Maybe I'll find there'll be a Wikipedia article, or maybe Starlink has a technical specifications on their website. So sorry, Mr. Comment. Too many beaches, sir. Good. Absolutely. Too many beaches, buddy. I appreciate it. What's the topic of this stream? I don't know. It varies. When did you show up? Good evening, Stock. Good to see you, my friend. How you doing, buddy? All right. That's fantastic. Always good to see you here. Flow Rida indeed. Satellite internet. Yeah. I mean, there's inherent problems with satellite internet, not to mention the fact that if it's using geosynchronous orbit satellites, which it effectively has to do because, otherwise it would drift. You're looking at about a 25,000 mile bounce, man. So the speed of light is finite. Is finite, and so therefore the latency is excessive. Now, for the most part, the new satellite providers, they don't use TCP/IP to do the technology. They have their own sort of encapsulated packets. Because with TCP/IP, yeah, you'd be guaranteed retransmission, but you'd also be guaranteed a lot more latency. So I'm not quite sure what they're using, but it'll be good. I'll definitely have to look them up, George. So thank you for that. I'm always interested in that stuff. Condos haven't appreciated it in 10 years, but I've saved on rent. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to live somewhere, right? Hi, Mike. Hi, Gracie. Hi, everyone. Greetings from NB. How you doing, Newport Beach? See that, John? Just whip that right out. Man, I am so freaking worldly. Caesar says, I have 3, thinking of getting 2 more that are joined into one, 425,000 baht in the same building as the 2 others I have. That's cool, man. You'll own an entire block. And it's funny because, he mentioned, right, that he's like 20 minutes by bus away from the MRT. We'll give it 10 years. The MRT will come right in front of him and his buildings will be worth 25 trillion baht. You haven't seen appreciation in 10 years? Yeah, I mean, it happens, right? Northern Baja is in Mexico. What was that like? So, yeah, so I had a business. So if you know the topology, right? So you know that like San Diego is basically Mexico. So San Diego is the furthest sort of big city, and obviously Imperial Beach goes all the way down. But yeah, so from there, it's we incorporated initially in Ensenada, which is right on the west coast of Northern Baja, and but for the most part, I deployed all of the stuff in San Felipe, which is on the east coast. The water's a lot warmer, much more tropical. I fell in love with it; it was great. But unfortunately, there were a couple of things that happened, one of which was kind of out of my control, meaning the global financial crisis. But I wasn't leveraged like crazy. But the point is that when that happened, the economy in San Felipe, which was made up of tourism, but also a lot of construction. So what happened is when people's houses were increasing 25% in value every 6 months or every year, depending upon where you lived, and everyone believed that was going to happen for the rest of their lives, they could financially make the decision that they're going to take out a second and a third mortgage on their house, and therefore they were going to take that cash, these HELOCs that they would get, and they would go down to Mexico and buy this beachfront property for like a couple of $1,000s, and then for like $10,000 or $15,000, build this amazing house on the property and have a vacation home or potentially retire down there. So that was a lot what was happening in San Felipe. So because of that, many Mexicans, even ones that didn't grow up and live there, moved to San Felipe to be construction workers and to be general contractors, some of them, and work. And they were doing great. They were making money. They were working 6 and 7 days a week. They were all excited. They were putting money in the bank. They were helping their families. Then 2008 happened, 2009 happened, and the economy cratered. They went to 50% unemployment within about 90 days in San Felipe. Because the gringos basically were like, okay, well, this is a second or third mortgage, and I'm just going to take all the money that I took out, and I'm either going to put it back, or I'm going to just stop doing this. And so, unfortunately, for the Mexicans, basically all they had to do is say, well, I'm never coming back down there again. Well, you owe me money. Okay, well, good luck getting it. And that's horrible. It sucked, but that's the reality of what happened. So many people that were living there moved. Many others stayed and got desperate or pivoted or tried to do other, certain, because of course, tourism was in the toilet as well. But crime got really high because people were like, look, I got to feed my family. So my house got broken into like 2 or 3 times. And my house that I was trying to sell, I went through a big issue with that. And the woman that was trying to sell it to me didn't have legal right to sell it to me. So I had to, sue her and everything. So unfortunately, it ended poorly. But I loved San Felipe for the longest time. And if you've ever watched my videos or my series on why Thailand and how I believe that this is my Thailand, this is my New Mexico, because I had a Mexico. Mexico was my paradise, but then I needed to find a New Mexico. And so Thailand was my New Mexico. So that's how Northern Baja transitioned from awesome sauce to lame sauce in a big way. Must admit, all ones I used to and still do are seal them out anywhere that, seal them out anywhere that area on that line. Okay, yeah. Makes sense on the BTS. I am fantastic, Dave. How are you doing? Congratulations, by the way. Dave's a married man, ladies and gentlemen. Good for you, buddy. Aztec, I'm always waiting to watch the launch of the next Starlink mission. Ah, very cool. Over what? Are they over just like Southeast Asia? HughesNet, yeah. So that's the one that I was talking about that was basically with DirecTV. Mr. Lucky. Mike, I'm a network security engineer. Would I need a work visa if I work for a U.S. company remotely in Thailand? So here's the deal with that, is that if you work in Thailand, you are supposed to have a work, and I assume by work visa, you also mean, do I need a work visa / work permit? I assume you mean a business visa and a work permit. Here's what I'll say is that when I was coming over here before, and I was basically not living here, and I was traveling here, but for a significant amount of time, and I was consulting primarily for companies back home while I was here, I wasn't really worried about it. Moving forward, though, I'm on a retirement visa, but as I've been over here for a while, and of course, because I can't leave and then get a stamp and then have my visa extend for 1 year, I'm getting a business visa with a work permit because at the end of the day, for me, I just don't want to be distracted by it. So if you're going to come over here and you're going to live here permanently and you're going to have some degree of constant income, I would inquire about it. Let's just say that. You can't really get it before you get here anyway. So once you get over here and you kind of find out the climate that you're in and the amount of actual work that you're doing, I will tell you that like 10 years ago, being a network security engineer, like if you got your CCNA and your CCIE, for example, right? Or you're doing that sort of network security stuff, and you're incredibly talented, and I'm not saying you're not, but just as an example, right? Like you've got a high level of competency as well as experience, and you're sought after, right? And you're making like, 150, something like this. Regardless of where the number's not relevant, but you're making decent money. If you come over here and you're doing that sort of job, is it not very likely you're going to be taking a job away from a Thai, okay? But like basic IT desktop tech support, the Thais are absolutely doing that now. So, I mean, if you are doing that, but if you're like really versed in AWS and you have a whole bunch of certifications and you can basically spin up an entire data center inside of AWS or GCP or something with your eyes closed, there's going to be no sort of quarrel about you taking a job away from a Thai person. That said, as I mentioned, when you come over here, that's the time to really sort of determine the best way to do it. Starlink isn't geosynchronous. It's about 50,000 microsatellites that have extremely low and extremely fast. Ah, very good. Yes, yeah, I know nothing about it. So I'm very here. Let me put this in my tab and search it because otherwise I'm going to forget. Starlink. That's very interesting to me now. Starlink.com. Oh, it's with SpaceX. Wait, can you get it? Or is it just like in really? All right, hold on. The antennas are pretty tiny. Okay, so that I don't know. I guess in theory I could hang it out. 'Low altitude, 8 milliseconds of latency. That's outstanding. If all goes well with the beta, Musk has said Starlink will cost about $80 a month. Yeah, so that's like 2,500 baht. I mean, that's ridiculous here in Thailand. I could literally, I mean, for 2,005, I pay 263 baht per month right now for my about 100 megs down and 30 megs up. Yes, it dumps out occasionally, but again, this is consumer, right? So that would be a big jump in cost. And but I'm very interested in the technology, so thank you for bringing it to my attention. I'm psyched to like read up on that later, and maybe we'll actually have a tech live stream someday, because I know I tend to lose people sometimes when when I go a little bit too far. Like Rob, he always gives me a hard time. He goes, "Oh man, I love listening to your live streams, except when you get way too technical." Sorry, I missed that. Bangkok would be a cool place to buy. They have a car race right next to the beach. Yeah, I thought Bangkok was okay. It wasn't my favorite beach by any means. The sand is not gorgeous, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, look at it. It's close to Bangkok, and they've got some opportunity down there for sure for up and coming real estate. Sheki, yeah, that is a cool name, actually, isn't it? I read it's 2 times faster than fiber. Well, I mean, it depends, right? I mean, look at, you can get multi-gigabit per second. You can get terabit per second connectivity on fiber. So I assume what you mean is that it's for the same amount of money, it's faster. But trust me, all that satellite stuff to get to the internet, it's fiber backhaul. So do due diligence first in terms of proper risk management. Absolutely, completely agree. Not don't do eggs in one basket. What did I say about getting a cool and refreshing beverage? I completely spaced on it, didn't I? Specky says, thank you. I kind of stole it from a friend back in 92 when I was in college. Uh-huh. Yeah, I was just about to ask about how dangerous it got in Mexico. Sounds dangerous. Yeah, Mexico's dangerous, especially when the economy's not good and the drug cartels need to kill people. So at the end of the day, I don't know if I think I've told this story a couple times, but at the end of the day, what happened, and the reason I do not go to Mexico any longer, is because my attorney that was trying to get everything ironed out, the drug cartels discovered that the original paperwork to my house was being held by the drug cartels in trust, and they were laundering money through it. And then they discovered that my lawyer was going to put that in my name and give them and remove from them an avenue to be able to launder money. And so they drove him off the road, buried him up to his neck, and drove over his head and killed him. So, yeah, Mexico's dangerous. Too bad. Anyway, Mike, keep well. I got to get on the making of videos and stuff. Give me a shout if you want a guest. Keep safe. Well, bye all. Thank you, Andy. It's good to see you come by here, man. I occasionally get over to yours, and the timing of his live streams does not mesh with my ability and my time that I watch live streams. So, unfortunately, I don't see that. See them as much as I want to do. Mango says, I remember your story about your homes in Mexico. It was actually owned by Pablo Escobar. Yeah. Not him, actually, but his competition. 7:46 in the big Mango time. We are launching the 11th batch of Starlink satellites from Kennedy. 7, like in 13 minutes? Seriously? That's awesome, man. That's really cool. I got to figure out all about this. 50,000. Man, talk about space junk. Good for him, man. George says service will initially be made available to customers in Canada and in the northern United States in 2020, with additional service expansion to follow to other parts of the world throughout 2021. Wow. Well, I'm really excited about that. That's great. I mean, all it's going to do is help the proliferation of 5G, right? I mean, you can get 5G in Bangkok now if you don't know. It's not awesome, and it's not. And in other words, you get 5G, and then you walk like 17 meters to the left. Oh, great! Now I have 4G LTE. Which is a big delta. It's a big delta between 5G and 4G LTE. I need a tech-only live stream 3 to 6 hours. Great! I'll tell you what. Once you guys, you tell me the topic we want to talk about. I mean, I can always talk about radio, but I do that a lot. But yeah, that would be great. I would love to do it all tech live stream. That'd be fun. I could send it to you tech live stream. Well, Hike, I mean, I know you're in the business, buddy. You're in IT, brah. Wake up at 5:30, and the Cool Kids table is still in session. Absolutely, Hugh. We are here for you, buddy. Welcome to the Big Mango at 7:35 p.m. And he says, see, Mike and all have to go to work. My job is keeping the koala bears off the Sydney Harbor Bridge. Good for you, dude. That's a fun job. Glad you came by, Andy. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. Really? Okay, I see what you're going to do. I see what you did just there. 13, 12. How come you didn't say T minus? I mean, come on, dude. You got to focus. I mean, if you're going to be part of the whole NASA thing, I mean, you're living in Florida. Clearly, you're, very skilled at doing a launch because you're from Florida. That's what you guys do down there. I'd kind of like to see some T minus. So just throwing it out there. 80. Are you kidding me? Guys, I don't know what I did to, I know what I did to deserve it. And this, I almost said, I don't know what I did to deserve. I mean, I did what I do, right? And you guys do what you do, and we all do this together, and that's how we get thumbs up and that sort of thing. But I don't know why it was just like so much more tonight. I mean, maybe just enough people came by and they were like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but then they couldn't last or something like that. I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks this is actually a decent time for live streams. It's just that, Florida's awake, right? Obviously, it's 8:30 in the morning there. But, I lose the West Coast. I don't have a ton of people from the West Coast, but still, I can't please everyone all the time, which is why I do this evening broadcast. And then there's the morning ones where I catch the guys in Australia, basically in the morning or early afternoon. Just one of the many reasons I don't visit Mexico. Yeah, and here's the thing, dude. Sorry, I don't know if Shecky is male or female, so I apologize if I just threw the dude out there. It was just more like, hey, Acapulco is many people have heard of Acapulco, like it's this big tourist destination. It is incredibly dangerous. Do not go to Acapulco. Puerto Vallarta is not so bad. Cozumel, Isla Mujeres, those places aren't so bad. Cabo is pretty tame. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. A lot better places to go, in my opinion. Jesus, that sounds like something on Breaking Bad. Yeah, Mexico definitely too dangerous. Yeah, but again, look, here's the deal, Hike. If you go down to, if if you're like, look, I got to go somewhere tropical, and I just simply can't. I have to go close by. Then Cozumel's cool. I don't know. Again, there's other places for sure. Where are you at, Alabama? How long does it take you to get to Bermuda? That's a pretty easy flight. I think you can go. I got buddies over there, and I'm signed up for some lists, and I believe their properties are open, and I believe they have thank you very much, Stuck. There you go, buddy. T minus, ladies and gentlemen. T minus. Yeah, from Alabama, go to Bermuda. When I'm in Boston, I only go back there when it's hot and humid in the summer. Gracie and I still went to Bermuda. I love all for the tech-only stream. Right on, Caesar. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I like Bermuda big time. I also like T minus. So thank you, Stuck, for playing along at home, sir. I appreciate it. Stuck, YouTube, where do I catch the CGI stream of this batch? And he says, everyone keeps telling me there are no koala bears on the bridge. That means I am doing my job. Well played. Check. That's a good one. That's a good conversation starter. Oh, hey, Andy, how are you? I'm Sheila. What do you do for a living? Well, basically, I work on the bridges and I keep the koala bears out there. Well, there are no koala bears. Huh. You're welcome, Sheila. Samsung Translator changed languages on me spontaneously and right in the middle of a big discussion. That seems weird that it would do. That's a pretty darn reliable app. Yeah, that's a good one, right? Looking for a new job in networking. Any suggestions of good computer companies to work for? I know you're in the industry. All right. So again, as many of the guys on here will tell you, the answer to most important questions is, thank you guys. It depends. So it depends what you want to do. If you are very risk tolerant and you are entrepreneurial and you want to come up with new technology and you love, you tolerate the ability to potentially lose your job, but potentially get another one that pays more money, then there's a bunch of companies that are out there that are younger. And then, of course, there's always Cisco, right? The Dell Technologies is enormous, and it's a behemoth. And they have many networking products, not the least of which is IoT, but that's kind of the thing. It's kind of the edge. I have no idea how old you are, but if it was me and they were like, okay, Mike, here's the deal. Like, you need to go get a job in networking. First choice would be AWS. Next one, Google Cloud Platform. Third one, Alibaba Cloud. And actually, well, so if you're like in the United States, then stick with AWS and GCP, Google Cloud Platform, GCP, or Azure. I mean, and here's the thing about like companies like Dell and Microsoft and that sort of thing. They're good in the sense that they're world-class. And if you were ever like, well, I really don't feel like working in Alabama any longer, but I work for Dell Technologies, maybe I can get a job in Bangkok. I wonder if they have an office there. Yes, they do. And it's filled with people, right? Not necessarily Bangkok, but Singapore, okay? Hong Kong, you want to move around the world, that's a possibility. If you are over in this part of the world, Microsoft is very well respected over here. So the Azure cloud over here is very well respected in comparison to, say, AWS, which one could argue AWS is more popular in the United States. There will always be a job for you if you get AWS certifications. If you know AWS and you are a network expert, you are sought after. There is so much. I mean, once you like spin up a server and everything, but you start doing anything with any degree of significance inside of AWS that's not necessarily using AWS native services, and you're a network expert, you are living the dream. People need you. And quite frankly, I think it's pretty interesting work. So depending upon where you are, AWS is always hiring. It may not be a good fit for you, but they're always hiring. Alibaba Cloud is, as far as I'm concerned, I have a lot more Alibaba stock than I have Amazon stock. And it's not like Amazon is a slouch by any means. But Alibaba Cloud, I believe, is pretty much going to follow the path of AWS with its trajectory of success. So I would, I'm a dude. I'm not the dude. You could be. You're at the cool kids table. I tell you what, there's a lot of cool dudes here, so you could be the dude for sure. But yeah, so here's the deal. If we're not connected on LinkedIn, then it's just LinkedIn/Mike Somerville. I believe that in my description of my YouTube channel, I believe my LinkedIn profile is in there. If it's not, then you can just search for me on LinkedIn or send me an email at livemyassoff@gmail.com. And I tell you about LinkedIn because if you want to, I just sell this to many people, just cruise through my LinkedIn profile. And if there's anyone in there that you're like, oh, wow, he knows this person that works at that company, I wonder if he could do an introduction. And if you send me your resume and you're open and that sort of thing, and you want to have a chat and you're not, really going to cause any harm to anybody, quite frankly. And you've got the ability to add massive value, like a lot. The companies that I work with, they're exceptional, and I'm honored to be able to do that. But if you're hungry, man, and you want to, I would encourage you to get as close to cloud technology as absolutely possible. and just learn, take certificate after certificate after certificate. Because first of all, they're almost not like the certifications in Alibaba are basically free. I got 18. And so it was kind of like a slow month at work, you know, but I just like one right after another. And in fact, what was funny is because it's a Chinese company. Okay. And so some of the things were translated, and some of the people that were providing the training, their accents were really thick. And so a lot of times I would take the test and I would like get the results and I would get one wrong and I would email the guy and be like, I'm not wrong. You are. In fact, here's what will happen if we go and we answer it the way you answered, and here is the technical ramifications of that. And I'd be like, look, this is what you can't set the network up this way, dude. You cannot attach storage non-SSL. Are you kidding me? Like, no, that's not an option, you know, kind of thing for like the web server or whatever. Anyway, I worked a lot back and forth with Alibaba. I'm a huge Alibaba fan, and they have a ton of room to grow. They're very immature globally as far as a cloud provider goes. Their customer service is nowhere near AWS. Nobody's is, quite frankly. So my point is that there are companies that are, you know, world class, that are global companies that you can get in with now that still have a lot of room to grow, which then could potentially leapfrog you into AWS. Or if you're just freaking amazing and you've been like, no, look, dude, I've been doing this for 20 years, Mike. This is what I do in my sleep. And I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of working at IBM or Microsoft or Adobe or whatever. And you're like, I want my next challenge. Amazon all day long. Jeff isn't going to sleep anytime soon. And I can tell you right now, the culture he's got in place, Jeff leaves, big deal. Doesn't matter. There is 100 other people in a room that could come up with some of his vision and execute on it. Trust me. A lot of people pay attention to him, and trust me, he is a visionary. He's very risk tolerant, and he's obsessed with excellence. But still, it's a great company. It's weird. Okay. So like, I mean, if you're used to having like the average meeting and people talking about things and you know, that doesn't occur in Amazon. You sit down and the entire room is quiet for like 20 minutes and everyone reads the proposal. I mean, it's a little bit odd, you know, but I'll tell you what, you leave that place and you walk around and you go to your next company and you're like, oh yeah, by the way, I've worked at Amazon. They're like, okay, why did you leave? It's the first question, right? But anyway. Shecky, you've probably been here long enough to realize that my answers are never short, especially if it's a subject matter that I really like. And I love the cloud. I love it like a fat kid loves cake. Few dozen available from the government housing bank, so maybe that holds things down. Yeah, it could be. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm watching it live. No CGI here. That's really cool. Is it on YouTube? I assume it's on the NASA channel. I mean, no. They're not. What am I talking about? It's SpaceX, for God's sake. They're the one who's launching it, right? What do? You just go to YouTube and you, let me do it. SPAC. Excuse me. Oh, my God. Need some beverage. Watch SpaceX launch 60 more Starlink satellites. Which one are you watching? Are you watching Everyday Astronaut or Space Official or the BBC? I bet the Space Official is probably the most appropriate one. Falcon 9 Starlink mission launch. All right, we'll stand by. This is kind of interesting. You guys can't hear this yet, but stand by. This is very interesting to me. Very interesting. Oh, good. Here we go. Hold on. She said 3 events happening back to back. Here we go.
9 M1D engines will shut down and slow the vehicle in preparation for event number 2, stage separation. As the name indicates, this is where the first and second stages will separate. There we heard the call for MVAC engine chill, indicating that the second stage is preparing for that stage sep and ignition of MVAC. After stage separation, stage 1 will start to make its way back to Earth for its landing on our drone ship, and stage 2 will continue its journey along with the third event, SCS1 or second engine start 1, where MVAC will ignite and begin to propel the second stage along with the Starlink satellites to orbit. Expecting MECO in about 10 seconds.
MECO. Stage separation confirmed.
How cool is this?
All right, on your screen there, we have visual confirmation of those three events. MVAC is now ignited and beginning to develop that warm orange glow. The next event we have coming up is fairing deployment.
Fairing separation confirmed.
There on your screen, we now see those 60 Starlink satellites. Those fairings will make their way back to Earth as well. Like I mentioned before, we won't be able to bring live coverage of the recovery attempt for those fairings, as they'll be happening after we close our webcast.
She said
So be sure
60. I didn't
check in
see
on our
them.
social media accounts for updates on that. Second stage telemetry looks good. Everything is nominal there.
Looks good to me too. I mean, you know, it's second
Now,
stage.
as it heads
So
towards its targeted drop off orbit, first stage there on the left-hand side of your screen will execute 2 burns in order to make its way back to Earth.
so cool. So cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, obviously you guys can watch that. You didn't cruise over to hear hear that. But I'm glad you let us know about that stuff. That's really cool. If all of a sudden I went to like 0, I could completely understand that. That's actually pretty interesting to me too. So that's pretty good. I will second that. A tech stream. I'm thinking of a setup of a redundant phone and PC bill pay and communication setup for purely selfish reasons. That's my prep for moving to Thailand next spring. Redundant phone and PC bill pay. Yeah, I mean, the redundant phone thing. I've got, I have for me and Gracie. I have U.S. phone numbers. They're Google phones, Google Fi, right? Which also means they're Google Voice numbers. So I can get all of my texts and that sort of thing inside of Google Chat, which is nice. From the U.S., there's only one kind of SMS I cannot get inside of Google Chat for my Google Fi number. And that is the one from Google where they need to like verify that my physical device, like my SIM is plugged in from my physical device. Other than that, once I basically install Google Chat, then I don't need the SIM any longer, effectively. And for my phone and Gracie's phone, our 2 numbers, it is, I think, $46, $47 a month, whether we use it or not. And it's got we don't use any data in it. But the nice thing is that it literally works almost anywhere in the world. So it gives Gracie the ability to fly somewhere, land, turn on her phone, bam, and it always works. Roaming with a Thai SIM can be a challenge. Roaming with a Philippine SIM is impossible. So, and annoying. But a lot of times, depending upon what country we go to, if we're going to be there for more than a week, usually I'll get a local SIM, and then we'll just sort of tether through that. So I know you have 4 days off from your 365 days off from your vacation. Indeed. We also have 3 days off for Labor Day in the USA, heading to Yosemite. Have you ever been there, Mike? I have not been to Yosemite. I've also not been to the Grand Canyon. And for some reason, I guess I'm just too much of a beach guy. I never said, I really should go to I'm quite certain they're gorgeous. And believe me, many of you may be probably rolling your eyes saying, you've never been to the Grand Canyon. Are you kidding me? Right? Why have you ever been to Yosemite? Oh my God, you lived in California. I get it. It was just never something that I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely got to do that. It was always like, or I could go to the beach. So Unfortunately, that took over. T minus. Thank you for letting us know that, Stock. I'm stoked, man. That was really cool. I may actually go back to watching that here pretty soon. What time is it? It's 8 o'clock. How long we're only at 2. We're only at 2 hours. Mariano says, second that, go for the cloud knowledge. I know, really. I mean, it's just such an easy win, right, Mariano? And so again, Shecky, I hope that added value and didn't potentially confuse you too much. But again, livemyass@gmail.com, or quite frankly, the easier thing to do is just connect with me on LinkedIn. And then if you find someone there or if you have any questions for me, that's great. But if you have any, if you see any connections that I have that you want to be connected to, then we can chat and we'll see if that's a possibility. Dave says, hi, Mango. The house that I lived in for 20 years is right next to Bass Lake, about 25 minutes from the gate of Yosemite. Where do you live? Brentwood. That's a low rent place, right? Do you guys all know what Brentwood is? You guys have ever heard of Beverly Hills? That's another one of them. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Love you. Like a fat kid loves cake. Big time. Big fan of the cake, dude. And I tell you what, I do not need to be fat to love cake. Thank God. But I'm a big fan of cake. Cake and donuts. Oh, my God. They're food groups. Unfortunately. Yeah, I'm sure you'd love. Yeah, that's cool. My grandma always used to say, don't believe everything you see on television. Exactly, which is why we're watching it on social media, so you know it's true. Come on. It's on the tube. I have been watching, and it is why I asked the question. Thank you for the answer. Oh, cool. Good. Glad. Let me know if there's any. And, there's other guys here too again, you're not going to come over here if you want to see a whole lot about like bar. I'll touch on it, right? But it's like, I'm going to go over to Mike's channel because he's going to talk about gratitude and technology, and he's going to be goofy, and he's going to talk about, something. He's going to remind us how much he misses Gracie. Here it comes, smallest violin ever. Yes, Mike, you miss your girlfriend. Oh yeah, we don't, because we can all travel just wherever the hell we want, Mike, to go see our girlfriends. I get it. Trust me. I know it's not just me. Are you going to come to Thailand and live? I assume, Dave, you were asking Mango that question. 60 years of NASA couldn't do what Eli is doing, yet we all just believed he sold PayPal and just got this done in a few years. Yeah, I know. He's he's an amazing entrepreneur. I have a lot of respect for him. Bought a place in Sheeran Beach 4 years ago. Oh, nice. I knew that. I remember you saying that. If you guys don't know where this is, that's in Phuket. I love Sheeran Beach, dude. That was nice. Wait, is it right there at that lake? That's like when you come in on the south side of that little road and it sort of ends, and then there's like that. It's like a I don't want to. It's like a big condo or like development. That's like, anyway, maybe not. I don't know. Not that I'm skeptical or anything. Not that Aztec is skeptical or anything. Cool. When I first came here, I lived in Kamala for 8 months. Loved it there. Yes, absolutely. Kamala's okay. I liked Sheeran Beach. That was really awesome. I don't know if I'd live in the Kamala long term, but we have space for us. No big whoop. Just sending an email. Oh, cool. Stoked to talk with you. Send me when you shoot me an email, just attach your resume. We can go from there. See you when you get there. Absolutely. You guys are going to totally hang out. Brentwood is the former home of OJ. Yes, well. Not all wealthy people that do the right thing, do they? Absolutely. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, let's see, where's this thing? I am going to give you guys a break video, if you know what that means. I think you do. Many of you do. And I'm going to take a quick break. And basically what I'm going to do is I am going to share with you basically a snippet of Bangkok Strange podcast. How's that? And oh wait, I got to do Chrome tab, and then I got to do this, and then I got to do share audio. There we go. Sometimes I get this wrong. So I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to let you guys listen to this for a little bit, and then I am going to I'll come back in about probably less than 5 minutes, quite frankly, and then we will start chatting some more. How's that sound? So hold on, let me cruise over here and do this.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Well, same with passports now too. Can't show your teeth.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a monkey thing. Like
What if you have like gold fronts and you want to like?
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, well, if you're a gangster,
Yeah.
then obviously you can do whatever the hell you want because you're just sitting there. You're going to hold your 9.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to put a cap in the guy's name.
And your
Yeah, you're like, hey, listen, let me into your goddamn
hold
country.
my AK-47 with the ISIS flag in the back
Come
of my passport.
on. Yeah, I mean, why do you think I'm wearing this hood? So, but again, so there's limited accountability.
Yeah.
Right. And you're going through the process. You don't get a license like in California. We get a license. If I get a motorcycle license, then I get a new license, and it just has an additional M on it.
Yeah. Here you get 2.
I get 2 licenses. I got the motorbike, and it's only good for 2 years.
Yeah.
I have a temporary
Oh, so-
license right now, right?
So I'm on my I have the full
Permanent.
version.
Yeah.
5-year.
Okay. So that you did at like obviously 18 months, 2 years,
Yeah.
something like that. Got to renew.
Actually, I think my first one might have been only good for a year.
I think well, my temporary, they're good for 2 years.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
No, I know, because you just go through it. Whereas so California, you get your license.
Mm.
After that, you pretty much just like log into a website and they keep your same picture. Renew. I mean, as long as up to
Yeah.
like 75, I think.
So yeah, and you can in California you can do it remotely. too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in Thailand, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it used to just be you got your license, you had that one license for life.
Never expired.
It
Yeah.
never expired.
Right.
You could be legally blind, but you got your license at 16, you're
Have
good to
plastic
go.
surgery. They're
Yeah.
like, who is this guy?
No, they didn't. The old ones didn't even have photos.
Really?
Yeah.
So you could give it to your buddy. Like,
So-
oh yeah, here, drive.
So my friend was telling me like he had his license, and it didn't have a photo on it, and it was good for life.
Wow.
And now when you went to like if you want to get a new one with your photo on it, then it goes into this whole process that you can get the renewable thing. But so they have their national ID card here. We don't have that.
That's
in
a
the
big
US.
deal here. Yeah.
And so that has your photo.
Yeah.
So even if you have an old license that's good for life, they'll still have to see your national ID. So
Oh,
they
that
can,
makes sense. Yeah.
They can verify who's who.
Is it true that you can be arrested as a Thai person if you do not have your international ID on you?
I do not know the answer to that.
I heard that the other day, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, I guess, I mean, at the end of the day, in California,
Yeah.
obviously, if you're driving a vehicle, and this is probably true in every state, you need to have your driver's license with you, physically on you. Okay.
Unless you're one of those free to travel dougebags.
No. Plus, I mean, if you've gotten a DUI, you're
Yeah.
not going to be holding that thing, but you still got to drive around.
Yeah.
As long as you drive around sober, then you're good. At least that's what I hear. But so you can do that. But so there's no like, but what's funny in the Philippines, which I say is arguably backwards,
Yeah.
or not as advanced as Thailand. Let's
Yeah.
just say that. Gracie, she goes out, buys a motorbike.
Yeah.
And then kind of learns how to drive it like in a parking lot, and then
Mhm.
upgrades to the side streets, just like we do with anything, bicycle kind of thing. And then she just recently went to take the course
Yeah.
to be able to learn how to drive this motorbike that she drove to the school to learn
Yeah.
how to drive. Right. So did that. And now she has like a temporary license. It's good for like 90 days.
Okay.
And then she needs to go back in like 30 and then do something like give him a medical certificate.
Mm.
And then she gets the permanent one. But there's nothing like that here now, as far as I know. Although you sent me an article from Bangkok Post
Yep.
about this upgraded thing. So remind me.
So now they're going to want to have a health check for any.
Sorry. There we go. Yeah. Speaking of plugging the mixer into the PC, right, Aztec? Anyways, that was just a little taste of Bangkok Strange. I wanted to give you that as a little bit of a teaser. If you haven't checked it out, do go to just type in Bangkok Strange in YouTube. Cruise on over there. And yes, to answer your question, Hike, we absolutely do video, and starting on the next podcast and all of the future ones, and certainly the live streams, of course, we have video. And to Aztec's point, yeah, I know. I looked down and I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And of course, it was right after right after I see you lob this over the net. Yeah, they plugged the mixer into the PC. So get this, guys. So, I mean, and here's what's funny about Dane and I. We're both engineers. Both engineers. We both worked in radio. He worked in radio briefly, but I worked in it for, over 2 decades. You know, and we can do this stuff in our sleep. But unfortunately, we weren't asleep, so therefore we can't do it, I guess. I don't know. But in any case, yeah, the first thing that we, the first live stream we did, we weren't using the mixer, although we're sitting there talking into these microphones, but the audio was being picked up by like this little Logitech camera that he had in his studio. And afterwards we listened to it. I was like, oh my God. So anyway, we figured out a way to double check that before we actually do it. Oh my God, it was so goofy. But anyway, so some of you guys have watched the live stream, and I really appreciate your participation in that over there at Bangkok Strange. Dane and I have a good time together. And so I really appreciate you guys coming by. Agree on Bangkok Strange. Strained my interest with Lady Boys, but have covered many other topics. Good atmosphere. Yeah, we were joking around. We always joke around about that, man. And that one guy we had on there, he was he was great. Tony Huge was hilarious. In fact, you know what? I completely spaced. I'm actually going to go to Pattaya tomorrow. I should ping Tony and see if he wants to hang out and have like some food or something like that. I'll have to remember to do that. Actually, what time is it right now? So it's 8 o'clock. I'm actually going to cut it here, guys. And here's the reason, because I just realized when I'm in the kitchen and I'm like, hey, I haven't had dinner yet. So I need to have dinner. I need to pack some things, and I need to get to bed because ideally I'm going to catch the 5 a.m., 5:15 BTS over to Ekamai, bus down to Pattaya, and then hopefully be able to hang out with my buddies around 9 a.m. tomorrow and grab some coffee. Tomorrow is Friday here in the Big Mango and in Thailand. I am planning on doing another live stream on Saturday night. I know that Jeremy does his things on Saturday morning, but I'm not sure whether he's going to do a live one from Pattaya. I have done live streams from Pattaya. I've done them from various places. A Starbucks that's like overlooking Beach Road. I've done them from the Teddy Bear Cafe, which actually my condo is right next to the Teddy Bear Cafe, so I'll be down there. So basically, yeah, I'll be doing, I may shoot some video, but I don't know, maybe not. It's not like you guys haven't seen Pattaya. So it was maybe more like sort of, you know, for us to just sort of catch up and that sort of thing. And for me to show you a little bit of what's going on in Pattaya. So again, like I said, I think what I'm going to do is probably try to start, right now it's scheduled for 6 p.m. I may roll it back and start it at 5 p.m. because I kind of want to do a live stream from the beach. I think it'd be really cool to like do some walk and talk on the beach. The 4G LTE down in Pattaya is outstanding right there, even on the beach road. So I could probably grab the gimbal and walk up and down the beach, and maybe we could catch a sunset or that sort of thing. So who knows? Anyway, so with that, I want to thank you guys so much for coming by. Thank you, Dennis. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys came by and made the Cool Kids table the absolute table that it is, because you're T plus 20 minutes. There you go. Thank you so much. Again, thank you very much for letting us know about that, man. That's like that's really cool. And 58 square meters are Artizo. That's nice. That's not too shabby. Swanky, as is said, I believe, right? Yeah, someone said swanky. Anyway, so yeah, as Dave says, you guys all have a good night. It's always great to see you as well. And I want to thank you guys so much for the super chats. Thank you for the super stickers. I really appreciate that. I don't know what the total was. It was going by actually pretty fast, which is, I guess, a quality problem. But you guys are totally awesome. I really appreciate that. And as you might guess, I'm probably going to use that to go buy some street food and some smoothies and that sort of thing right there on the beach in Pattaya, where I'll be tomorrow. So anyway, I am shy a little bit as well, my hike friend. But anyway, with that, it's Mike from livemyassoff.com saying, I hope you guys are living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, then there's a high likelihood that you have not been watching the SpaceX launch, hanging out with Stuck in Florida, from Florida, launching at least 60 satellites in the air. And if you're not doing that, well, then you're not living the dream. And I'll talk to you